In this desolate land, it's time to sleep, my good brothers. A must-watch wilderness building video before bed. I guarantee you'll lose sleep watching this. Today, I'm guessing your phone battery is around 49%. And you're lying in this exact posture. If I guessed right, leave a comment. If not, take a picture and post it in the comment section. Now, please put your left foot over your neck. Let's get straight into today's topic. When Ionia is covered by a heavy snowfall, the mountains fall silent, dressed in white. In this harsh season where everything suffers, Joe packs his bags and braves the freezing wind. He has two goals: build a warm cabin in the snow, and then head to the nearby frozen lake for some pure ice fishing. This is a winter romance exclusive to the brave. The north-facing slope ahead is a perfect spot. Joe's immediately starts clearing the ground. Then, he unleashes all his strength to start digging. The heavy snow makes the soil soft. In less than 2.5 hours, he digs deep enough. Next, he can start collecting materials. He takes his ancestral tools and searches around. This kind of dry spruce is the best choice. Of course, before using it, he needs to shave off the bark. After carrying it home for some simple cutting, he can start digging the foundation pits. Then he plants the pillars into them and backfills the dirt firmly. Once done, Joes carries the remaining wood back to base. The hundreds of pounds of weight completely exhaust him. He has to sit down and rest for a moment. Once his stamina recovers, he continues building. He plants shorter pillars on both sides, thus forming the sturdy prototype of the gable walls. As for the top roof beams, they need some processing. He first cuts out the grooves, and then uses his black cleaver to chop them. It takes a long time to chop the surface flat, so it can sit perfectly stable on top of the pillars. Of course, a few wild iron nails are needed. He secures the other side in the exact same way. This creates a stable, triangular structure. This longer piece of wood is the cabin's ridge beam. With a little splicing, it fits perfectly. Joes happily admires his work, and doesn't forget to give himself a thumbs up. Although the snow is incredibly cold, it can't stop Joe's burning passion. In no time, he adds 2 more crossbeams. Now the cabin's framework is initially complete. Next, he spends another 2 days collecting wood. When it comes to building, Joes has strict principles. He never fools himself with inferior materials. The thinnest tree he cuts is as thick as a thigh. Because the soil is soft, and the dirt walls aren't sturdy, he plans to build all the walls by stacking logs, stacking them while filling the gaps with dirt. This is not only stable, but also provides insulation and windproofing. Soon, the walls reach waist height. Joes seems immune to the cold. He touches the ice and snow, barehanded, without any fear. Quickly, the walls reach the roof level. With this level of sturdiness, even a wild bear couldn't break in, although the bears should still be hibernating right now. With the walls done, he can start building the roof. Considering the load-bearing requirements, he uses slightly thinner logs and conveniently leaves a hole for the exhaust pipe, so there will be no need for later cutting. As for the most important part, waterproofing, he relies on a plastic tarp. Nothing works better than this. With a little fixing, it becomes completely watertight. Once secured, he covers it with a layer of soil. Not only is it sturdy, but it blends in perfectly. Then he continues to seal the front wall. After that, he brings a basket of white snow, just to scrub the wood clean. The attention to detail is amazing. To prevent drafts coming through the walls, Joe specifically gathers a large pile of moss. By stuffing it into every crack, he achieves complete windproofing and insulation. The melting snow makes the ground extremely muddy, so he paves the entire floor with logs, which is neat, and isolates the moisture. Now the cabin is only missing a sturdy door. Joes first preps 3 thick wooden boards. After taking some simple measurements, he feels the size is just right, so he immediately splices and secures them together. The result is looking pretty good. But bro, can you trim the top a bit? It doesn't look good like that. Yes, yes, exactly like that. That's much better now. It fits perfectly and looks entirely natural. The fixing job is left to the sturdy hinges. They are like regular hinges, but much larger, capable of supporting the heavy door. Look at this. The result is not bad at all. Now that the safety issue is perfectly solved, it's time to think about heating. Joe's first cleans out the pre-reserved smoke hole on the roof. Then he takes out his newly bought fireplace and assembles it. It looks small, but it's enough to warm the whole cabin. He pads the 4 legs with wooden blocks to raise its height. Then he can collect some firewood to test it out. Look at Joe's handsome wood chopping posture. He quickly gets a massive pile ready. I don't know when, but he also secretly made a big bed. Only now do I realize, accompanied by the crackling sound of dry firewood, Joe's no longer has to fear the bitter cold. With the shelter finished, he rushes to the lake to check. After chopping through to test it, the ice is already over 10 centimeters thick. This is enough to ensure he can walk on it safely. However, a quick reminder, this action poses certain risks, so please do not imitate it. After digging the ice fishing hole, he heads back home first, planning to wait a night before fishing. Using 2 wooden boards, he makes a beautiful tabletop. Just as he's about to install it inside, he notices dirt easily falling from the wall cracks, so he seals them up with cotton strips. Then he can finally install and fix the table. In his free time, he also builds a few shelves. Now his pots and pans have a place to stay. Look at this massive firewood reserve. Paired with the thick walls, it gives a full sense of security. Tonight, he made potato stew and a pan-fried meal. Although there's no meat for now, he still enjoys it immensely, and fantasizes about tomorrow's braised fish feast. After eating and drinking his fill, he falls asleep early. He dreams he caught more fish than he could ever eat. This is a good omen. So he heads out early in the morning with his gear. He finds yesterday's ice fishing hole and clears it again. Then it's time to show off his skills. However, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Master Joe's, after a busy day, catches absolutely nothing. Well, at least he earned the title of catching nothing but air. Although he didn't catch any fish, he definitely got tired. He drags his tools and silently returns to the cabin. Facing the embarrassment of blanking, Joe's shows his tough guy humor. He holds up a piece of broken bark he picked up, saying, "This is fuel. I didn't come back empty." To cover up the embarrassment, he starts tinkering with some wood, and makes a beautiful latch for the door. It actually looks quite nice. He just keeps staying busy like this, with no slack in his eyes, only a calm expectation for tomorrow.